Okay, wow. Facebook and YouTube decided not to start, but okay. Looks like we are all good to go, as far as I can tell, at least. Wait, start all. Okay. Let's see. TikTok, how's it going? Also got YouTube and Twitch and Facebook going all at the same time, hopefully. I'm going to double check just to make sure that everything is going real fast. Yes. Okay. Looks like everything is going. I really need to get like a laptop in here so that way I can have technically a second display. I just don't. I should have set that up and I just didn't take the time to. Anyway. Okay. Newcomers, and as well as the fact that this is my fourth live stream now, I want to say. Yeah, pretty sure. Yeah, fourth live stream. At any rate, the name is Ride with EBS, Ride with EBSS, electric bike, scooters, and skateboards. My name is Blake. I am the owner of the e-commerce business startup. I'm very much still in startup phases. And I'm just going to be pouring out content like this, reacting to different things about the industry sense on things. I am a for-profit business first and foremost. My website is ridewithebs.com, ride with EBSS, electric bike, scooter, skateboards. That's the acronym that works out the best. And right now on the website, I've got an electric air pump and a hydration backpack, both of which items I have been using on a regular basis. This being the air pump that I have used. It's an electric air pump. Got two sources of light, external battery pack, and of course it also blows up the air in my tires for my bike. And then, of course, the hydration backpack. It's over there. It's kind of buried right now, so I don't really want to get that out. Both products are available right now on my website for pre-order, ridewithebs.com. That is essentially how I'm making money. They're available for pre-order right now. It is drop shipping. And I'm not doing any sponsors right now. I'm not looking for sponsorships or anything like that. I have my second business that's a video production business. That is what I'm doing here and here, making content for people to watch, obviously, and everything like that. Basically, I'm using my video production business to generate content for my dropshipping business. And in doing so, I'm promoting the business, of course. I'm not in the position that I'm doing sponsorships, or if there is an ad on anything here or anything here on TikTok or on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, whatever like that, know that I'm not making any money off this. I don't have partnership deals with any video streaming platform or anything like that. My real ultimate goal is to get as much inventory in as possible for the products that I want to list on my website that align with the core of my business being electric bikes, scooters, and skateboards for local, residential, and urban commuting, daily, year-round urban commuting. And I'm looking to just grow the business and be a part of the industry as a whole. Be a voice, so to speak, for people that feel trapped in their vehicles. There are a lot of people who I didn't realize how trapped I really was in a car, in driving, uh, until I didn't have the money to repair or replace my car, and I wound up just hopping on my bike. It was actually my stepdad's bike, and I biked the mile down my main street to the public library to see how far I could go. Didn't die. I wasn't too tired. So I just kept on pedaling and pushed it, and in smart ways. I pushed myself to see how far I could make myself actually go, and that ultimately led to me discovering that, hey, there's actually uh, whole groups of people, whole communities out there. Even hell, I found out that there was actually whole countries out there in the world that's how they get around, is by bicycle. They don't even actually own a car. They can rent one if they need it, but for local commuting, they don't even have a use for it. So I decided that I wanted to try to spread that message and say that, hey, you don't need to be you don't need a 2-ton tank just to be able to get down the street and around the corner to grab a half gallon of milk, or you don't need to be paying into a liability that is a car or a truck, van, SUV, whatever like that, just to be able to get to your job or a friend's house or whatever the case is like that. It is possible to ride a bike. The problem is, more or less, at least in America, the infrastructure, a lot of infrastructure is just not friendly for cyclists. But where I'm coming from is more of a stance of, if there are enough people that are willing to take the stance and say, I'm going to ride a bike, scooter, or skateboard instead of driving, that creates demand for city officials to create safer infrastructure, or even for just drivers to slow down and actually pay attention, if nothing else. So we have plenty of infrastructure for cycling, scooters, and skateboards and everything like that. It's a matter of how it's used. It's a matter of how it's used. If you can take the same infrastructure that we have now and actually put bike, scooters, and skateboards on it, and everybody wins in that scenario. Everybody's moving at the same speed, more or less. There's a greater throughput of traffic if everybody's riding on scooters, bikes, and skateboards. There's, people would just wind up being happier in general. I truly do believe that, because I live the life of a driver. I come from having a car, and I didn't really realize how miserable I was paying into something every single day just to be able to get around town. Yes, if you're traveling long distance, obviously jump in a car, or better yet, a plane. Just saying. It's one of those things. So, at any rate, wanted to just say that real fast. I'm a startup business, looking to grow this into a brand of people that just figure out that there's a better way of getting around your hometown than just than feeling like you need a 2-ton tank. And if anything, voting with your dollar by saying, I want this product and I'm going to use this product, it will have way more power to change things than any politician you vote for. And it's not even close. So, at any rate, so want to mention that me and my business partner, as a matter of fact, actually are going to be looking at fixing up the S18, figuring out what we need to do to get that get my previous electric bike back up and going again. I've also got a surprise that I'm going to save for a later video. I was hoping to get the video shot today, but before the live stream, spoiler alert, didn't happen. But that just means that I have the opportunity to promote it before it's up. So, little teaser, I've got a really special surprise, and this is going to lead to us working together to get the S18 up and going. So, at any rate, so let's go ahead, and I know this is going to be shocking for a lot of people, but I want to go window shopping for cars. I want to go window browsing. I want to essentially go browsing for cars online real fast. See if I can do this. Nope. There we go. Incognito, because I don't necessarily want or need a bunch of car ads popping up on any of my business, either of my business accounts or my personal, which I'm not even sending my personal on here, so it would be kind of irrelevant. So, Toyota.com. Let's see what Toyota's doing in the EV space, shall we? TikTok, if you're following along with this, you can go over to Twitch, twitch.tv/ridewithebss. Facebook, same thing. And YouTube, same thing, because I'm sharing my screen right now. So, we want to go pure EVs. Crossovers, SUVs, trucks, electrified. Let's see what we got here. Okay, so estimated range. Let's see, Toyota Crown. Now this is supposed to be electric, as I selected. Okay, kind of literally what? I'm gonna say 2 colors, 1 color, and multiple shades. Heavy metal, basically a shade of gray, another shade of gray, black, red as a color, okay, fine, white as a shade, 2 shades in 1, whoopee, brick color. Black bitone. Okay, so 3 colors. Whoopee. MPG. Wait a minute. Miles per gallon. I thought we were looking at the EV section. What the hell? Come on. Vehicles. Electrified. Here we go. Now, for whatever goddamn reason, Toyota, tell me how, let me see here real fast. Fuel cell electric vehicle components. Okay. $49,500. Hey, guess what? You'll never pay near that amount on an electric bike, scooter, or skateboard. At least from Ride with Ebs. I can promise you that, because there's enough room in here for 5 people, fairly comfortably, I'm gonna guess. Bike is useful for 1, maybe 2 people, and that's it. So it's very minimalistic. This is complete overkill if you're just commuting locally. Let's see here. 3 years at 35,000 miles. Advanced to its core. Not sure about that. How does it create electricity? At the core of, I don't even know what that word is. MIRI? Hydrogen from the fuel tank and air entering from the intake grill meet in the fuel cell stack. Okay. There's a chemical a chemical reaction involving the oxygen in the air, and hydrogen creates electricity, powering whatever that word is. in the end, the only byproduct is water. How do you fill it up? Refueling is simple. There's a pump and a nozzle, just like a gasoline station. Okay, yeah, you managed to pick out the one way that hydrogen is the same as gas, and you stuck with it. Dear God. As you pump in the hydrogen, it travels to carbon fiber reinforced fuel. Okay. Reinforced fuel tanks where it's stored. Okay. After about 5 minutes, you'll be ready to hit the road again. That's interesting. It's interesting to me that they went that route. Obviously, filling up a hydrogen car is very similar to fueling up a ice car, in the sense that it's still a type of gas, but it's water-based, essentially, is what I'm understanding from hydrogen, as opposed to being, fossil fuel-based. Obviously, this has the advantage of, you're not sitting around waiting for 30 minutes or an hour or whatever like that to recharge a battery. You're just fueling up the same way as you would with a ICE car. I get that they went this way. I get why they went this way. However, I will say that it's also a matter of being able to just take a break. Not everyone is going to want to do a marathon cannonball run from New York to LA. We actually did a family vacation, and we went from Fort Wayne, which is where I live, down to Florida, specifically Siesta Key. I drove me and my girlfriend down there in her, at the time, 21 RAV4. I drove us all the way down and most of the way back up. Big mistake. That was a big mistake, because what happened was that I actually wound up, because of the fact that I was sitting for so damn long, I actually wound up, I wound up with a splitting pain in my back. My lower back was in excruciating pain by the time we got back home. My girlfriend wound up having to take me to the hospital, and they told me that most likely what happened was that I pinched a nerve, which caused my lower spine to start twisting, and it was excruciating. So, no cannonball runs for me on the highway. So, this idea of, you can just fuel up in 5 minutes and get going again. It's good in theory as long as you're not doing long distance traveling. If you're doing long distance traveling, you're already gonna want to be stopping for, a good half hour to an hour or something like that, just to eat, stretch your legs a little bit, maybe even just to explore the area that you're in. You can let your electric car charge while you're just exploring around the area, as long as it's people friendly. Not saying that I'm not necessarily saying that, and I want to make this 100% clear. I'm not in favor of completely banning cars from densely populated urban areas. What I'm completely against is being so being so dependent on driving that it's the only way to get down the street and around the corner. If we're talking about long distance runs like this, long distance travel like this, it's still important to have vehicles in the area, but they shouldn't be so dominant, and there should be infrastructure that prioritizes people over drivers without necessarily cutting drivers off completely. There should be a better balance. It's leaning way too far one way and needs to lean further the other direction. That's ultimately the point that I'm making here. So, how safe is hydrogen? This hydrogen fuel tanks, these hydrogen fuel tanks have been rigorously tested and proven to meet Global Technical Regulation number 13. I'm curious what that is. It's multi-patented carbon fiber wrapped polymer lined fuel tanks absorb 5 times the crash energy of steel. Okay. If the hydrogen detectors detect a leak or equipped vehicles with a collision sensor detected a collision, the hydrogen tank valves will automatically close to prevent more hydrogen from escaping, while any hydrogen that is leaked will safely return to the atmosphere. Okay. Versus just going straight up battery, in which case, the type of batteries that Tesla's putting in their vehicles, they don't leak because there's no liquid. Last I knew, I could be wrong about that, but last I knew they were a straight up solid. So there's no leak. You don't really have to worry about that. How much does it cost? We're making it even easier to embrace sustainability. So basically, pending sustainability. I don't remember the last time I've seen a hydrogen pump. And that's not because I'm not paying attention. That's because of the fact that I just haven't run into a hydrogen pump. I just haven't. Invite that user. Sure. I don't know if I did that right or not. I'll see if I did that right or not. It's on TikTok. I don't remember the last time I've seen a hydrogen pump, and that's mostly because of the fact that I just haven't. I'm not going hunting for them, but I'm also not purposefully avoiding them. I just haven't seen them. Whereas I've seen a Tesla charging station. I've seen the electric vehicle charging stations in Fort Wayne. Plus, people are getting them in their homes, too. As far as I know, I don't believe that there are any hydrogen refueling stations available for home use, because they're still considered a gas. Yeah, sure, it's water at the end of the day, but I don't believe it's drinking water. Again, I could be wrong about that. I'm not sure. But at the end of the day, it's still more practical whenever you get an EV, whenever you get an electric vehicle. You're gonna want to get a charging station installed at your place of residence, which is already at least which is already one step out of two of being able to be off the grid and completely self-sufficient if you need or want. You don't get that with hydrogen, as far as I know. I think that maybe LA and Miami are about the only two exceptions of cities in America that have that are running neighborhoods and whole communities, and potentially even the cities themselves, that are running off hydrogen. Well, that happens to be probably because of the fact that they are coastal cities. Whereas the sun does shine in over most of America most days out of the week. So it is completely feasible to put in a solar panel, as long as you can afford it. And they have come down a lot in price. And, there's tax incentives, everything like that, too. So I see what they're trying to do with the hydrogen. It seems like to me they're trying to make hydrogen be this thing where it's a it's an easier transition from gas to electric because it still has a lot of the same operations. It still works the same as gas in the sense of refueling is still similar, different things like that. It's still a pump instead of plugging it in to charge it. But at the end of the day, electric is still the future. Yeah, no, we don't have the infrastructure right now, but we also didn't have the infrastructure for streaming movies and TV shows in 4K quality back whenever Netflix was getting going. We do now. It's been made because people invested into it by either buying into the service or investors actually invested in the company to help it thrive. So, it looks like a nice car. It really does. It's just, it's overkill for most people. It's way too fast, way too powerful, and way too heavy for the average person. It's just too much. The purest expression of elegance. Yeah, I know. It's going to look all sleek on the inside and everything like that. You got your male model right there. How many miles? Pre-collision system with pedestrian detection. Because drivers don't pay attention, so your car does for you. Look, the technology is impressive, and I will grant that. It is absolutely impressive. Anytime that I get behind the wheel of my girlfriend's car, which is from time to time, we often fight over shotgun. She wants me to tote her around, but unless we're going on the highway, I typically just hate driving in urban areas in general. Densely populated areas, I just hate driving in densely populated areas. If we're going, out of town down to Indy or something like that, yeah, sure, I'll go ahead and drive us. I don't mind an open road highway. But I usually let adaptive cruise control do as much of the driving as it can. And that's not because of the fact that I'm, too lazy to drive. Obviously, I know how to drive. I've driven my two cars in the past. They were doing good to have cruise control that I still had to adjust based on how fast or slow the driver in front of me was going. I use adaptive cruise control that can come to a full stop for me and can keep me in the lanes in case I were to have a medical episode. There's been times to where I've driven a car and I was tired. And so it's one of those things where, if you start veering off, it'll beep at you, and that, in my case at least, that was enough to wake me up. But having these type of things in here like that is good in the sense of, first of all, the technology is, I'm really fascinated by the technology of it. But at the same time, the cynic in me also says, hey, humans really can't drive. Like, we just can't. We've had centuries upon centuries of time to figure out how to drive without killing people by, the tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands every year. And we just haven't gotten there yet. So the only feasible alternative, going down the same path of everyone has their own car, is for the car to be fully self-driving. I am in support of full self-driving in a world where people just don't pay attention to what's going on in front of them anymore. In a world where people get drunk and they get behind the wheel. In a world where you can have a medical episode behind the wheel if you have a stroke or something like that, and you're doing 40 miles an hour, and next thing you know, you got a school zone coming up, you have to drop down to 25 or 30. If you're having a stroke or a seizure, or if you just black out, whatever the case is like that, if you have a complete mental breakdown, you're not going to slow down. You're not going to stop. But the car will, if it's programmed and has the hardware in it to see that, hey, there's a driver in front of me that in front that's slowing down. Hey, there's a pedestrian. I'm going to come to a stop. Hey, I need to stay between the lines, whatever like that. I am for full self-driving vehicles that can communicate with each other in a way that us humans just will never be able to. But again, that goes back to if we're going down the path of driving dependency. I'm not for driving dependency at the loss of being able to just walk to the park that's, a mile down the street, or, a block down the street, or whatever the case is like that. That's what I'm not for. So, full speed range dynamic cruise control, yep. Lane detection, yep. All that. Automatic high beams. She had that in her 21 RAV4. I think she's still got that in her 23 Corolla. Road sign assist. Yeah, I've noticed in the dash, in the dash with the odometer, it does give you the speed limit on that display as you pass the. All these features are awesome. Like I love them. I absolutely love it. But it's again one of those things where it's a few baby steps in the right direction. But again, not at the expense of, not at the expense of making me dependent on needing a car for everything every single day. Yeah, 49.5 and 66,000. I can't, unless I'm traveling regularly, that it's not going to justify itself. Fuel cell. Okay, so this is not even hybrid. This is not electric. This is hydrogen. I want to go for so it looks like the Toyota isn't even doing electric vehicles. Okay. Toyota, how about Lexus? The mid-range premium, I guess you could call it. Let's see. Shop vehicles. Okay, let's see. Hybrid and electric. You gotta separate those out. Hybrid and electric are different. I mean, you really gotta separate those out. Hybrid, 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 hybrid. Electrified line. They have them separated out under the frickin' really. Okay. Lexus.com/electrified. Okay, here we go. Range. Well, okay. Los Angeles. UX hybrid with best-in-class 42 miles per gallon. I don't even see, so that's electrified line. That's still hybrid. Which am I on here, Lexus? Am I on the electrified line or am I on the hybrid line? Hybrid. No. Plug-in hybrid. All electric. RZ. Okay. Super, just overkill on the size. Dear God. Okay, fine. It's a crossover SUV type. Even so, my God, that hood and grille is just stupidly huge. Stupidly huge. They've got one, two. Well, actually, that's the first color I've seen. They got one color and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shades to choose from. Woohoo! Compare styles. Build your own. Shop your RZ. Okay, specs. Here we go. Power output. Okay, 150 to 150 over 80 kilowatts. Okay. Emissions rating, 0 emissions. I would hope so. Total system horsepower, 308. Okay. Traction battery type lithium ion. Really? You haven't gone over to cobalt yet? Interesting. Okay. Performance, 0 to 60 in 5 seconds. That is ridiculous. Turning circle. Okay. Okay. That's not bad then. 220 miles? That's not bad. For an SUV, that is not bad at all. I could see that. Okay, let's go over to Ford. See what they've got going on. Vehicles. Electrified. Oh, they've even got a Transit that's all electric. Go ahead and check out the Mach-E real fast. See what they've got going on. Block location. Wait a minute, wasn't Ford the one that was making the stink about that people were making a big deal out of the fact that Ford was going with their own proprietary streaming stuff? I didn't think they were still doing YouTube. Interesting. Or YouTube Music, rather. And even SoundCloud. Okay. Yeah, that looks like Android Auto to me. I thought the Ford was the one that was going over to what do you call it? Like, well, essentially that they were. This may have been released before, or they may not have actually been doing it yet. Okay, let's see here. Starting at $42,995. Good freaking God. Gallery offers an overview. Okay. Electrical wheel drive, yeah. Battery range, okay. EPA estimate range 312 miles a charge. That's not bad. Seating for 5. It's just so big. Why is it so big? That's what she said. Oh, shit. I shouldn't have said that. Whatever. You could save up to 10 grand on a 23 Mustang Mach-E. GT with 6250 in retail consumer. Okay, so this is something else EBS will simply not do. Like, okay, so electric bikes, scooters, and skateboards, on average, the ones that we're going to be selling are going to be, they are going to be effectively, they are going to be, $2,000, $3,000, or $4,000, whatever they are, like that. Obviously, the higher up you go, the more premium the materials become, the more premium features, everything like that. So, and I've got a payment structure in my head that is different from anything I've ever seen. Once I get there, once I'm able to actually get there, of course, I'll be able to actually implement it. But for right now, uh, I don't necessarily want to go the route of doing bank financing. Um, I probably will down the road eventually, but just right now, it just doesn't make any sense to do that. So, but yeah, no, all this like mail-in rebate and customer cash and everything like that. It's just a gimme. It's a gimmick. It's making you think that you're saving money or whatever like that. You're really not. It's really not. Select. Uh, 250 miles EPA estimated range. Okay. 0 to 60 in 6.3 seconds. That's not bad. That's a little bit more reasonable, especially for being essentially a crossover, if I'm understanding this correctly. MSRP, everything like that. See, there's just so much that goes into this, as far as the price tag is concerned and everything. It's ridiculous, and this is where I say that cars are just, they're way overvalued. They're also overly complicated, but at the same time, I just said that how I'm waiting for, I'm excited for a world where we have full self-driving cars, which will be infinitely more complicated to make, but will be infinitely more simple for the user to use them. So take that for what you will. A little bit of a contradiction there, but performance. Here we go. Expansive range available on California Route 1. Nice. 3 drive modes available in all modes. Design. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's... Again, the technology is impressive. It looks very nice, but it's also ridiculously big and just unwieldy necessary. Mercy. Search for that. There we go. And MBUSA. Fine. Vehicles. EVs. Let's go to the sedans. What? Why did that... Hold on a minute. Why did TikTok flip around all of a sudden? Ooh, flip camera. There we go. Okay, that was weird. Whatever. Okay, here we go. Battery capacity. Electric range. $350 miles of charge. Assuming that's what they're talking about. Battery capacity, 108.4 kilowatt hours. Okay. Every fleet has a flagship. Electric has the EQS. Charting a new course for drivers, guided by the brightest star on the road. Earning multiple awards and hearts of drivers. Give me a break. Okay, yeah, Mercedes is obviously going for, the super luxury class here. So I'll give him that. I'll give him that, absolutely. This looks very futuristic, very, high end. This looks very comfortable. Got all the touchscreens and everything like that. Yeah, this looks really nice. I mean, it does. It looks really nice. You get them. I wish that they would just let people choose either Apple Music, YouTube Music, or Pandora, or Spotify or whatever. Don't try to put in your own proprietary software. You are going to lose customers if you do that. More than what you will gain. I promise you. This is like one whole big giant touchscreen. That probably isn't a touchscreen, obviously. But, yeah. Okay. Okay, yeah. And then the other one's a passenger display. Got it. So, I'm all for having one giant display in the center, like what Tesla's done and what Lucid has done. I'm not for this because this is just too much. It's too much to spread out. I mean, that still looks frickin' insane. It looks very comfortable. It looks very comfortable. Yeah, it's a whole display like that. In some ways, I kind of like it on, actually. Less buttons that wind up wearing out. Of course, then the other problem with it is that if something cracks the display or if there's a bug in the system, then you're either A, you better be really good at coding and be able to plug in and figure out what it is, which is possible. People say all the time that, oh, well, you can't work on these cars like that. Well, you actually can if you understand computer coding. It is possible. It's just that it's different. Is really what it boils down to. And I've heard people say, the argument of you can't work on these newer cars, like you can't work on them, you can't really do anything with them, I find really interesting for two reasons. First of all, that implies that you want to buy that implies that you want to buy a job. To me, it does, at least. I may be weird in that sense. I don't know. To me, that implies that you want to buy a job. And in some ways, I can kind of understand it. If you're a hobbyist, if you're a tinkerer, fine. The average customer is not. They want to buy a car for it to take them places, and if something happens with that car, then they're going to take it into a shop. That is going to be what happens in most scenarios. Otherwise shops wouldn't have been a thing since the first sale of the first car, right? Literally everybody would just be able to take their car and fix it the way they wanted to or whatever like that. There are people out there that are diehard enthusiasts or whatever like that there are car enthusiasts. I'm a tech enthusiast, and I prefer my tech to be not so proprietary so that I can, make it the way I want to. That's one of the reasons why I'm on Android, is because of the fact that I can make it the way I want to without Apple interfering too much. Can the government get into my Pixel phone? Yes. I'm aware of this. They get into my phone. They're going to see when my pizza arrives and how much am I paying on my electric bill. That's pretty much it. Because I've signed up for certain services and I've done certain things to my phone that make it borderline impossible for government to get into unless, I have a big enough target on my head or something like that happens. I'm enough of a tech to know what malicious apps to stay away from. Your average driver, even if cars went backwards and were super simplistic, all mechanical and everything like that, all tactile, they're just not going to want to, your average customer, your average driver is just not going to want to do the work to keep it running, update it, whatever the case is like that. If I'm talking about my desktop, I'm enough of a tech and I enjoy my tech enough that if I want to put my external hard drive, well, actually I do want to put my external hard drive. I want to put my external primary hard drive for all my video projects into my desktop so that I'm not relying on USB and everything like that. I can just be PCI and that's it. It's infinitely faster that way. I'll get it figured out because I want to, because I enjoy it. I enjoy the tech puzzle. I've just never had an interest in cars. And most people are going to have specific interests. They're not going to be interested enough in a car, even if it is super simplistic, to fix it. So, hey, look at that. Stream to new extremes. So this looks like it's probably going to come. If you're serious about music, you'll enjoy virtually endless play from numerous online music services, seamlessly integrated into your EQS. You can just say, hey Mercedes, to stream your Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, and Amazon subscription. So that's interesting that they don't have YouTube Music listed. They probably will have the software for it eventually, I would assume. We're talking about Mercedes here, very much in the higher end class of vehicles, and that's just, you're gonna probably get data with your car. It'll probably connect to the internet by itself. So in this scenario, this is one of those scenarios where I say, good for them, in the sense that you'll probably, whenever you get your car, whenever you get your Mercedes, I'm willing to bet, and if you own a Mercedes, correct me if I'm wrong on this, let me know, you'll probably be able to just log in to your Apple Music, your Apple ID, your Spotify, your whatever like that. You won't actually need your smartphone then. You'll still have your phone, but you won't be waiting on your phone to connect. That's one thing I do not like about my girlfriend's car is, yes, it has full wireless Android Auto built into it, but sometimes it takes a minute for it to connect. Sometimes it doesn't connect at all. Sometimes I've had to fight with it, turn the car on, off, on. Okay, fine, it's a hybrid, and initially it usually just starts up with the battery itself. But still, I mean, if I'm supposed to be able to, if the car's got data on it, then why shouldn't I be able to log into my Gmail account? Or if one of my friends is driving or whatever like that, he should be able to log into his Apple ID, his iCloud or whatever like that, play his music off the car, and, maybe get his Apple Maps going or whatever the case is like that. I should be able to get into my girlfriend's car and, select mine, type in a PIN or whatever like that, type in a password. It loads up everything from my Gmail account as far as my music and my navigation and my messages, everything like that. The car can actually be its own separate device in that sense. And it's gotten way easier now to just log into your account and log out. So that's just something that I really think that should be happening and probably will happen, and I'll probably see it in my lifetime. Cheating the wind, indulgence, passengers, open spaces, kinetic energy, 3 new heights of luxury. I mean, it is very luxurious. It looks very comfortable. It looks very luxurious, and I mean, it looks like a car. They look like they're going in the direction of, they've already been going in the direction of this car is comfortable enough practically to sleep in and actually get a decent night's rest comparatively to other cars. Not comparatively to a bed, but comparatively to other cars, you'll probably get the best sleep in this car when they get full self-driving figured out. Again, I'm going to go back to, actually I'm going to bring this point up real fast. Being a full self-driving vehicle essentially is going to require the vehicle to actually be a computer before it's a car. Yes, cars have gotten way more sophisticated now. There's way more tech involved now, but the major auto manufacturers are still automotive manufacturers. Tesla is actually a computer company. Tesla is actually a technology company. So their cars, the Tesla Model X, S3, X, and Y, are rolling computers. This Mercedes right here is actually a car still before it's a computer. It's got a lot of tech in it, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that it doesn't. I'm not saying it's a dinosaur or anything like that. But it's still a car before it's a computer. It just is. Pure ambience. Yeah, all the ambient lighting and everything like that. This car, when they get full self-driving figured out, this car is going to be, you're going to be able to sleep in this car. There's no two ways about it. An advanced electric motor. Ugh. Okay, I've got to bring this up. Electric motor. If you are talking about a fully electric vehicle, a non-hybrid, not a hydrogen car, a fully electric vehicle, it's not a motor. It takes no gas. If you did it right, it doesn't have any gears or anything like that. It is an accelerator pedal that when you push it down, that sends the signal to the computer to have the battery dish out more power to the magnets that are attached to the individual wheels. It is a hub. It is an electric hub that is being controlled by a computer and powered by a battery. It is not a motor. I hate that there's this misconception. In the same way, in the same breath, and I'm confident enough in this to say this. I've done the research on it. I've looked at what Harvard Dictionary has said. I've looked at what Urban Dictionary has said, Webster's Dictionary, other colleges, other auto manufacturers, and, whenever I look into what's the difference between a motor and an engine, internal combustion engine, what is this electric thing? Well, whenever you're talking about electric, you're not talking about gas and you're not talking about gears. You are talking about two magnets that are repelling off of each other. And that is dictated by, again, how much power from the battery the computer chip is telling the battery to put out to make you go faster. It is not a motor. Auto manufacturers need to quit saying that. I know they probably won't, but they need to stop doing that. Whenever you get these electric dirt bikes that are going on the bike trails and everything, like no motorized vehicles allowed. Well, it's not a motor, it's an electric hub. There is a difference. So nowhere else is no other source is almost all sources that I've looked into on this subject as far as an electric motor is concerned, an electric engine is concerned, they're all saying different things, which tells me that this entire industry hasn't made up its mind yet. Is it a motor? Is it an engine? Is it an e-engine? Is it an e-motor? You know, if it's electric, it's neither. It is a hub because it's just powered by magnets. That's it. So, if nobody else is going to differentiate, I will take that baton and run with it. It is not a motor. It is a hub. An advanced electric motor hub can turn 417 pounds per foot of torque into rapid response in the EQS 450 plus sedan, dual front and rear motors, hubs, total 590 pounds per foot in the new EQS 4, and it's, okay, for electric all-wheel drive that can adapt the torque 10,000 times per minute. That is impressive. Room that maneuvers. Yeah. If I'm looking at this right, and I am no engineer, I stated that these are electric hubs and not motors because they don't have any gears, they don't have liquid running through them. In most cases, I guess there's some sort of liquid cooling that goes on, but there's no oil, you know, there's no air filters or anything like that. For you know, this main part right here, it's all wires and magnets and electricity, or at least it should. It should be. Yeah, I mean, it should be. Electric made easy, along with up to 350 miles of driving range and brisk response, an industry advantage charging ecosystem offers over 60,000 public charging points nationwide. I wonder how many Tesla has now. I'm curious about that now. With the assurance of green energy, intelligence, navigation, and a set of new standards for electric monitoring simplicity. New standards, you mean 4G LTE, potentially 5G, because we're talking about a car, so it should have 5G. That's the new standard for charging. Estimated charging. I don't. Charge forward at no charge. The big way aims to be the flagship of all EVs. Mercedes Me Charge. Really? Helps to simplify locating, using, and paying for charging on all major U.S. networks. Okay. Charging for purchasing or leasing a new EQS includes complimentary 30-minute sessions at Electrify America DC fast chargers for 2 years. 30-minute sessions for 2 years. Interesting. That is very interesting. Start the day charged at home. Yep. Okay. That's the power wall here. Are designed to help you purchase and arrange installation highly rated home wall box that's engineered to work seamlessly with your EQS. Yeah. It better, definitely. So, gallery, of course. See what Chevy's doing. Ah, Chevrolet.com. Okay, I should have been able to guess that, actually. Vehicles. Electric. Bolt. Actually, like, a decent sized car. Like, it... It's a decent size. The shape is a little odd to me. But this is actually this is actually a very reasonable size. EPA estimate 290 miles, electric range, okay. Affordability, America's most affordable EV. 29,000. I think Tesla went down to 26, if I'm not mistaken, at their baseline. I could be wrong about that. I know they went down a lot recently. 7,500 clean vehicle tax credit. Yep. Okay. Cool. I mean, it's a nice little car. It looks like it would be a very nice little car. New A new era in affordable all-electric vehicles is here. The Chevy Bolt EV electric car is leading the charge. They all claim to be leading the charge, which means nobody's leading the charge. It features outstanding efficiency, cutting-edge technology, and amped-up style. Outstanding efficiency? Well, yeah. There's something that small. That better be efficient as shit. Cutting-edge technology. I seriously doubt that they've got a leg up on Mercedes whenever it comes to that. Amped-up style. No. You're not buying this because it's stylish. You're buying this because you still really want a car, but you want the most practical urban commuter possible, but you don't have the balls to go on a bike, scooter, or skateboard. You know, calling it like I see it. If I'm saying something that's inaccurate to you, for you, so be it. Moving on. Amped up style. Get behind the wheel and discover the power of all electric. Can we not be seemingly cheesy on purpose? Really? Redundant statement is redundant. Okay. Charge ahead. What's with the analog buttons down here? Put that ish up here. Come on. From a 10.2 diagonal touchscreen with Chevrolet Infotainment 3 system. Okay, so they got Apple Music up here. So yeah, it would still connect to your phone, as opposed to you just logging into either your Gmail or your iCloud. It's logging in. It's having you connect your phone. Fine. Gives you infotainment and energy screens to its driver information in vehicle technologies to help you stay connected and maximize your efficiency. Okay. Yep, here we go. Phone connectivity. You would need to plug in your smartphone, and in my experience, whenever it works most of the time. It works most of the time. I bashed it in the ground a little bit earlier, but Android Auto does work most of the time, at least for whenever we had... So her 21 RAV4, that was actually wired Android Auto. We had to plug in the cable, otherwise it was just Bluetooth, and it was just basic stuff like music and phone calls. Wouldn't do... It wouldn't let you browse YouTube music from the screen that was wired and like connected to the phone. It also would not give you maps. And something like, Telegram, for example. Telegram will actually come over the car on the screen because of Android Auto. But if you're just Bluetooth, it won't do that because Android Auto doesn't actually natively support a third-party app like Telegram. It always wants to default to texting. So, your mileage may vary on that one. But, anyway. But yeah, no, if we could just have it so that we didn't necessarily need to connect your phone to your car because you were already logged into your same account as your phone, then that would solve that problem at least. Your favorite, your fingertips, yep, got it, plug in to your convenience. At home or on the road, plenty of easy to find. Well, they're easy to find. They're easy to find, but they're not always super dependable. If we're talking about Electrify America charging stations, I've watched a few videos on YouTube about those, and they just weren't. They just didn't. They just straight up didn't work a lot of the time, for whatever reason. Home charging outlet installation on us. Okay. Plug-in promise here to help you make the switch. They're promoting this plug-in promise thing way too hard. That tells me that that they know they don't have it all together yet. An energetic performer. An energetic performer. Wow. 0 to 60 in 6.5 seconds. That is still respectable. That is still respectable. Like, it's obviously not meant to be, a performance car. It's made for efficiency. It's made for practicality. You could probably still travel with it reasonably. It's made for practical commuting. If you're jumping city to city on a regular basis for your day job or whatever like that, this is the car that you get. This is the car that you get. Anything else, it's just it's just small dick energy. Anything beyond this is just small dick energy. And it's just overkill. 5 passengers. Damn, really? Okay. Okay, I guess we're going that way then. I can't. Let me see how long have I been on this? Oh, my battery's about to die, and I've been streaming for an hour 14. Okay, cool. So I think I'm going to go ahead and conclude it here. At any rate, come on. There we go. Okay, yeah, I'll go ahead and conclude it here real fast because my battery's about to die. I just realized that. Again, e-commerce business, electric bike, scooter, skateboards, ridewithebss.com. I don't have any sponsors. I'm not looking for sponsors actively right now. I'm not looking for investors actively right now. I'm looking to grow a brand. We're working on getting the electric bike actually fixed. And right now I've got the electric air pump and hydration backpack available for pre-order right now. I'm working on getting some other stuff like beanies and long sleeve shirts and coats, jackets, things like that, just so that I have a little bit lower priced items. I don't want to just throw cheap garbage on my website, right? I don't want to just throw up cheap garbage on my website that I'm not personally using. I feel like that would be disingenuous. I'm not in it for fast cash. I am in it to grow a brand. So that means that that these products are going to be quality products. I'm going to personally ensure that, at least for me. And it's going to be one of those things where the business is just going to be do right. It's going to be a make it right policy. So, yeah, wanted to mention that real fast, and I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Have a nice night.